So I said to her, there's still a lot to do out there.
Hi, this is Blythe Tate, and you're listening to Eventing Weekly with Mitch and Braden.
Hey, cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Mitch, Braden, and Hector Payne. Hector, g'day, mate.
G'day. Not sure if I'm entitled to say that, but I'm going to anyway.
I think it sounded good. What do you reckon, Mitch?
Yeah, I think it fits the bill.
Yeah, not too bad anyway. Hey, Hector, just before we get started this week, we've got a few fans that follow along on YouTube, and they'll be watching along today, and first of all they'll be thinking, why are the boys not wearing shirts? And so I just want to clear that up off the bat, is that we're here at Hector's house, and his curtains are the exact same fabric as the shirts that Mitch and I are wearing. So I'm just waving my arms around a little bit just for the fans to say, hey, you know what?
We are, in fact, wearing shirts.
We are wearing shirts. It's just a coincidence that it's the exact fabric as the curtains. And Mitch,
It's not a green screen.
we're normally in the gilets, but where are they?
You tell me. I gave it to you 2 weeks ago, and I haven't got it back.
Well, it's not what you think. The gilets, we've gone and got them embroidered. You know, people love the gilets, but they expect a certain level of professionalism out of me and Mitch. So they're at the shop at the moment. We're hoping to get them back for today, but apparently they're in the mail and they'll be here tomorrow. So
Ready for next week, hopefully.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, enough.
If we get there.
Enough gilet admin. Hector, we thought we'd like to start, mate. We're here in your home, but it's also your yard. I was wondering if you don't mind just setting the scene of where we are in the UK and the world. Where are we?
So we're somewhere just outside Andover, a place where nobody knows where it actually is. But I mean, realistically, we're near those really annoying rocks on the A303.
Those really annoying rocks.
Everyone likes to slow down to look at.
Well balanced though.
Yeah.
Well balanced. I'm not quite sure how they got it done, but
But they did it.
How far are we from that?
About 15 minutes or so.
Oh, yeah. For the summer solstice, is that where you're heading out? You're going out there?
I think we're past that actually, mate.
We're past that.
Next year.
We're on the downside of the slope now, mate.
But that's for me. That's how far ahead I'm looking. It's in my calendar. I'm thinking summer solstice 2024. Are you out there? Is that where we'll find you?
We'll get you a caravan and some weed, and you'll fit right in.
Is that the scene? Is it?
I don't know. I mean,
Never been.
Never been. I mean, I've seen the rocks enough driving past. I do not need to go and see them in real life.
Have you?
Yeah.
Was that your experience of Stonehenge?
I've just had the same as Hector. Driven past that many times, and I don't need to go in there. I've seen plenty of rocks in my time.
I like to say to people that if I built them with a tractor, people would not be so excited about the damn things.
That's a great shout.
Some guy in however long ago is just like, do you know, it'd be really funny. I'll just go put a couple of rocks in the ground and
he probably had a tractor. He had a John Deere, and he goes, "Oh, John, check this out," and then got rid of the tractor, and people couldn't figure it out. He probably did the pyramids as well.
And the Leaning Tower, dug a little bit out there.
Okay, so he was from Salisbury, was he? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, what a guy. Oh, should we start things off, Braden?
Yeah,
and
we
get into our first proper question.
Yeah, and what is that, Mitch?
The first question tonight is actually a fan question. You might have heard of this guy before, Hector. So we'll play it on here and see what you think.
Alrighty.
Hey, Mitch and Braden, it's your boy, enthusiastic semi-professional event rider Toby Piggott. I'm a huge fan of your current guest, Hector Payne. Of course, once again, it's a double-part question. My first question for Hector is, after a brilliant but rare cross-country clear out in Aachen recently, what are the plans next for that exciting Grey Horse dynasty? Which leads me on to my second question. What were the emotions running through you after your very exciting meet and greet with the actress from the popular series Game of Thrones out on our recent holiday in Spain? Thanks very much.
So, Hector, quite a lot to take in there from big fan of the show, Toby Piggott. Thoughts and feelings?
Yeah, I mean, there's a loaded question, that one. Yeah.
Which one should we?
Should we focus on the first part?
Let's
start with.
Focus on the first part. The grey horses come out of the weekend really well. He's happy to be back, expanding his stomach again in the field. Actually, he's off to a Nations Cup in Evanche in sort of 3 weeks' time or something. So that's his next
Quick
plan,
fire.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him in and out.
And
Yeah.
where, sorry?
Avanches
in Switzerland.
Oh, I don't know. Mitch, you
yeah,
across this?
Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Oh, Mitch is...
Yeah.
Had the Europeans the same year we had Olympics.
Which Olympics? Last one.
Tokyo. Yeah, you know when they did
Ah.
2. I guess you guys don't
That-
give a
that
shit
big.
about the Europeans.
It's
No,
not
it's
that
not.
I don't give a shit. It's
We're just not part of it.
we got our own thing going down in Oceania.
Yeah. If we get an invite one year, then,
I mean, that's not a bad shout because, sorry to just digress quickly, but I'm thinking Eurovision, they let Australia come.
Yeah.
yeah. How does that happen?
I mean, maybe.
And there's enough Kiwis over
To
here
be fair,
now.
the eventing geek in me is going to come out at some point because I think you have been involved in the Europeans at some point, but when it was at Burghley or something like that back in the day, it's pre my era, but I think you were, but
Really?
maybe I'm talking crap. You need to ask. You need
We-
to ask Blythe.
Yeah,
He'd
I
know.
think Need to get Blythe on this. He'll know.
Yeah, well, Blythe, jump into the DMs, mate, and we'd love to know if you were there. If Eddie Teddy was there, we'd really like to know. So, yeah, great. All right. So, sorry, I've jumped in there, but that was the first part of the question.
Yeah.
Dynasty's pulled up well.
Yep. No, Dynasty's all grand, and yeah, looking forward to the next one. Really.
And there was a bit of a cheap shot there, a rare cross-country finish. Is that the sort of cheap shot you'd expect from Toby Piggott?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he's probably not wrong. We all have our ups and downs, don't we?
And that's eventing, baby.
Yeah.
Usually, when I make my mistakes, though, Toby, they're not on Dynasty. So we're and I was first to go, not last to go. So things are always better then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you about that. But on to the second part of that question.
Yeah. So
Game of Thrones. I haven't actually seen it. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, yeah.
Are you the only person
where have you
on the
been?
planet that hasn't?
Probably. Yeah.
Actually, I lie. My fiance hasn't either, but she doesn't do like different reality stuff. It's got to be real.
I mean, do you know what? I really can relate with Yaz on that one because I hate watching a show that you feel like you're on top of the plot, and then out of nowhere they just go, but
An alien. Yeah.
and you're like, I couldn't see that.
Yeah, exactly.
coming.
But suddenly they can fly. Yeah.
You're like, perfect. Yeah.
Second part of the question. Toby's asking about Brienne of Tar. For anyone that was at Tom Jackson's wedding last year, they'll know I alluded to Brienne of Tar, the famous stripper that we met. But
Oh, really? Is that?
but there isn't much more to tell than that, to be honest.
Okay.
It's more of a.
Well, to be honest, that's more Mitch's area of expertise than mine.
And it's not mine either, but we managed to nickname these.
Brienne of
Yeah,
Tar.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's a big lady.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I've never seen the show, so I wouldn't have any idea
Gotcha.
what you're talking about.
So you're going to let that one go straight
I'll
through to
just
the
let
keeper?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Straight through to
safest.
Alex Carey. It's going to be safe.
Maybe it's safest.
Let's not talk about cricket.
Yeah. Sorry. Condolences. All right. Well, we'll skip ahead to question number 2, and it's and I think the way this interview is going to go is probably going to frame up as a bit of an Aachen review. And so I was just wondering for you, it was your first Aachen. And so I wondered your expectations of Aachen versus actually the reality of competing at. What were your thoughts?
I think you got to start with it was my first Aachen and hopefully not my last Aachen because, I mean, everyone always talks about Aachen as being an incredible place to go and things like that. But I don't think until you've been, you can kind of understand what it's like. There can't be many events that can make Burghley and badminton look like a grass field.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Burghley and badminton and have grown up going and watching all the time, but Aachen to me is on a whole nother level. Just having everything else going on, it's not often you walk past and it's who's who of the equestrian world with
Yeah, you don't see Braden walking up the crowd every now and then. Yeah.
Well, even Caroline Power was pointing to me in the warm up, going, "Do you know who that is?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, that's Marcus Enning," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I know that one." And she's like, "Do you know who that one is?" And I was like, "I recognise him." She's like, "That's Ludger Beerbaum." I'm like, "Yeah, he's old."
I'm glad you knew that.
And who was that, Braden?
Is Ludger.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What,
You know
what does he do?
Oh, well, he's a big fan of the show. So, shout out Ludger.
Yes, yeah.
Shout out Ludger. And so you were quite aware of that prestige. Well, just the spectacle that you were walking into, heading into your first Aachen on a horse.
Yeah, I mean, I seen pictures of the main arena and things. I think you sort of don't get an idea of even the dressage arena. It wasn't, I know it's not the fullest when us eventers are doing dressage, but it's, it's a proper amphitheatre. Everyone's practically sat in the arena there with you.
Yeah.
So, that has an effect on the horses, as we saw with some people, horses struggling in that atmosphere. But no, just the show as a whole is absolutely brilliant. They take, whether it be hospitality or the classes or prize money. We like prize money.
Yeah.
All of these things are just so much far and beyond. I was joking about the fact that when we had Event Rider Masters over here, we were all happy that the winner was getting 16 grand. It seemed like a huge amount of money, and then the winner, Yazingham took home 37,000 euros or something. Plus team money as well.
Yeah.
Not a bad weekend's work. Really.
Not a bad weekend, is
You can
it?
almost pretend you're a show jumper for one weekend.
Yeah. Far out.
Yeah.
No, you're not wrong, mate. And the show for you on Dynasty, it did go bloody good. Do you want to just maybe explain for those who weren't following Aachen how the show went for you and where you ended up?
It was a good show for me. He tried his hardest in the dressage. I didn't do my best job of the flying changes, but and the judges weren't on the most generous of side, shall we say? But I often say with Dynasty that I'm normally 10 marks off the lead, but it's quite nice, that I went to Aachen, and you've got the world champion in Yazingham, and you've got Mickey Young, who's just the goat of eventing, and riding Chipmunk, and to still be within 10 marks of them, I'm happy with the first phase kind of thing.
Not a bad way to kick things off.
Yeah,
is it?
exactly,
Yeah?
exactly. He's not, unfortunately, he's not a dressage horse, but he tries, and we're always looking forward to the next phases anyway. And the show jumping, I was a little bit gutted. I made a mistake early on at fence 3. He was jumping his heart out, and I just think he slightly the atmosphere. I can't describe what that ring's like to actually go and jump in. And I actually noticed something I wouldn't normally notice in the show jumping, but I jumped 4 jumps, and then he took the biggest breath, and I was
really?
he definitely didn't. He was holding his breath. He was playing the tunnel game in the car. Can he make it from one side to the other? And he only made it to fence 4. But
And it's not a small arena there, is it?
Absolutely huge. When
Just like going around a cross-country course, isn't it?
I
Trying to
canted
get from
off
one
when I
side
went
to
in
the
to
other.
go and show the horse a jump, and I was like, and then they rang the bell, and I was like, shit.
I've got a long way to go.
The first
A
fence
long way
is a
from the
long way
first
away.
one.
Normally you could be anywhere in the arena, and
Yeah.
I'm like galloping across the arena
Yeah.
to get.
Yeah.
But
I actually saw that someone either had time faults out the gate as well for the same thing. They were showing the horse, and then they were cantering around and made it there like either on the time or a second out, which how often does that happen at a big show? But it's massive out there.
But no, it's a dream to try and jump clear around in the ring at Aachen, and he touched a pole, but he jumped brilliantly, and then it was on to the cross country, which in different tests to sometimes. There weren't many plain fences on the course anyway. Everything was a combination. I guess the only plain jump was 1-2 and the sock and great ditch in the middle of the course. But, but no, I had a absolutely brilliant spin. To be fair, he got a little bit lazy in the middle of the course. He can be a little bit like that, but actually once he got back in towards the crowds at the end, he was like, "Oh, this is great!" Like, so his little idleness maybe cost me a bit of time in the middle of the course, but I had an absolutely brilliant spin and loved it. So couldn't be happier, really.
Oh, it looked good from where I was standing, mate.
Yeah, no, well, it caused enough trouble. It was up there. It was a difficult course. To be fair, there was a lot of places you could go flying by, which I think it rather showed. Like there was plenty of thrills and spills without any major incidents. So that's what we kind of want in a cross country day. Really,
Some would say the perfect course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. And it did cause a few upsets, a few thrills and spills and whatnot going on. I think I don't want to rub it in a little bit, but Britain was sitting pretty well in the lead going into the cross country there, and then didn't quite happen. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on how everything finished up on the podiums for the teams and the individuals.
It was, to be fair, it was a really interesting one because actually when you're in the event, you Aachen, everyone's watching everything, and the show jumpers are watching the eventers and everything, and it's you're aware of what's going on, but it's different to when you're sort of purely spectating and sat on the outside watching. But I don't think Aachen could have written a better script. I mean, Yaz I was sat in her lorry with her after show jumping, and she was, kicking herself for, having a couple of time faults. I think she got lulled into the show jump time wasn't as tight as it needed to be. So
I'll take the foot off.
Exactly. Yeah. She said, I'm actually better when it's tight because it makes you go and get on with it. And but she was kicking herself, and I was like, you can't be grumpy about that. I was like, you jumped an awesome clear round, nothing's changed. And she's like, but all this. And I was like, but you don't know if those two faults matter until the end of the until the end of the course.
I'd hate to be sitting on 26 right now.
Yeah, I'm just there going like, if you don't win because you had time faults in the show jumping, give yourself grief tomorrow. You can't worry about it now. The competition's still in the go, and
there's a lot to do out there,
and all that. But no, we were. I mean, it was all changed all to go because we were stood watching it. After my round, all the individuals went first. So after that, we were sort of back in the wash box helping the rest of the team, and it's an interesting atmosphere to be in with all the other sort of teams doing the same thing, and everyone's trying to jockey position to watch the screen when it's their team rider on. But it was big change from sort of early doors after the second round of riders. Actually, America were in the lead, and we were sort of going, they're in the driving seat, and it was only a mark between everything. I think it was 89 to the 89 to the Americans and 89 point something to the Germans and 90 to the Brits, like in gold, silver and bronze going into the final round of riders. And you're there going, well, it's Will Coleman on Off the Record. It's the one of the fastest horses in eventing. The Americans have got this kind of thing. And then Will goes out first at the 3 and has a glance off, which nobody saw coming.
No. And it seems like he didn't see that coming
No,
with how he responded.
Yeah.
Do I'd like to think Will did walk the alternative, but dare I say,
no, he didn't.
Do you think he walked the alternative? Poor guy.
Don't know.
I personally think it's one of those ones actually with that I'm not sure whether you had or hadn't walked the alternative. It was a bloody long alternative, but it was almost one of those ones where I asked Tom about it as well, but he hadn't really thought about it. But it's like, if you had a run out, you might have turned around and gone the straight route again because it was that much quicker. And most of the time was the fact the horse hadn't seen the jump as opposed to it being like too difficult with all the driving sort of elements going on
there's
around
a lot
it.
to look at
It was a bit confusing as to where you were actually going, but even more so if you tried to go the long route because there was suddenly 10 jumps instead of 2. But
well, man, so many little avenues to talk about, and we're going to enjoy pulling some of those apart throughout the show. If I jump back in, and we are at question number 3. Sorry, question number 4, it's over to me. And I was just wondering, if we go back a day before the cross country, I was just wondering, how did old Yaz pull up on the Saturday morning?
I don't know. We should probably ask her about that one. But had you heard she enjoyed the party?
How do you mean?
Is there a bit of a party that goes on there?
If I can tell it from my perspective, as a husband of a competitor, I was pretty keen to push the boat out on the Friday night. And had Mitch have been there, you know what I would have. But I just felt like I was cheating on him. He wasn't there. And so it was my first Aachen. And I was really looking forward, and I'd heard a lot. And the grooms were really, building up some steam. And I was sort of on the fence. Alice Dorman, big fan of the show, and also content provider. She was working as physio, but she was saying, you know what, maybe you should come out tonight. And last minute, I just thought, you know what, I'll go home with the wife. We'll get a good kip in, and we'll come back tomorrow. And the first thing I turned up tomorrow, the next morning, and Dorman had been on the dance floor with Yaz, and the picture she painted, I was jealous. That's where I should have been.
I must say I vacated the scene quite early.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the event as barbecue. There's not many events where they give you sort of free alcohol and food and everything. And Adam was, Adam Short, famous eventing. I don't even want to call him a groom, but he, he does a very good job looking after Tom's horses. But he likes a party.
He was definitely driving the bus.
And when he came back with 2 bottles of rosé that he just asked for the bar from and hadn't paid anything for, it was a standing joke that we all had a tab behind the bar for everyone to delve into, despite the fact it was free.
Yeah.
But yeah, that always starts the night well. And let's just say Yaz bounced back well.
Yeah, good.
She bounced back well.
Yeah. So she took advantage of the free bar, but didn't let that get to her on was it the Saturday morning?
Yeah.
She was fine, absolutely fine all day Saturday. She did not want to party on Saturday night, but we were driving home, so that's fine.
It's well played.
Yeah.
Really well played. Mitch, what do we got, mate?
What do we have? A question actually that I hear goes around Aachen quite a bit. You're either doing one or the other, I believe. This is without me being there. But did you watch the Grand Prix dressage or the show jumping? Or did you watch both? Can you watch both?
Yeah. There's so much to watch. When you weren't competing, did you get a chance to go check out some Grand Prix dressage or some Grand Prix show jumping?
Yeah, to be fair, we tried to watch quite a lot. I didn't see much of the full Grand Prix dressage. We watched quite a bit of the dressage, but we were actually the level below rather than the top horses. Then we watched the 4-star rather than the 5-star, just because it seemed to work timing wise when you weren't trotting around the cross country course or trying to make my own horse do dressage.
Did you get to see any of the blue ticks? Any of the your Charlotte Dujardins?
Yeah, no, we did. I watched Jessica, name who I can't pronounce, German, who's who
Only
who wins.
You give it a
no, I'm not even going to try. And I did. Did I see? No, I didn't see Lottie Fry's test, but we saw her warming up and everything. So it was almost more fun watching the warm up than when they're in there. But yeah, and the show jumping was brilliant. We watched a lot of that. I even got brave enough to ask Ben Mayer why his horse hadn't jumped the double at the end of the
really
at the end of the
when
Turkish Airlines when it stopped. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. And
and we just said it doesn't normally do that.
That's so good. Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
can't argue with that.
But I was like, you know what? I would ask this. I'm going to ask it. My friends would expect me to.
And we're proud of you for doing
that.
So
I did, and then I thought, he's not an event rider, but I'm going to ask him anyway.
Did you catch any of the driving?
Not a huge amount of the driving, which I'm sad about because being at Poe and things we've seen, but I wanted to see Boyd Excel in action with his sort of 4 horses on the go, but I didn't watch a ton of the driving actually. Some of the dressage I was impressed. They do better rein back with 4 horses than I can do on 1, but I didn't actually have time to see them charge around the cross country. But it was actually. There seemed to be horses driving everywhere. At one point, there was sort of 10 of the little ones towing a carriage round. And
oh,
I was
really?
Like,
yeah,
Jesus,
Hey, Mitch, we've got to get you out there, mate. I know you're sitting over there as a bystander at the moment.
Yeah.
But,
and I have said to Ginny one day I might get on a horse.
Yes.
But for me to get to Aachen before her as a rider, I think it just wouldn't be fair. So
it's all right. There's a few statues out in Aachen that you could ride instead.
Oh yeah,
well,
yeah.
Okay. We could go out, is it?
Yeah, after a few drinks at the free bar.
Exactly.
Could,
you climb on one of the statues, and then you've done your riding at Aachen. No one can take that away from you.
Well, I did notice that Sam Watson and Derm were out there from Equi Ratings, who run the Equi Ratings.
Yeah, next year you just need to do a pod live out there.
I'm thinking maybe Aachen fly us out.
Yeah,
maybe we cover the show, not in direct competition with Equi Ratings, but in conjunction.
You can cover the parties.
We can do a live show from
Behind the
Yes.
scenes at Aachen.
Yes.
I'm
Now
here
we're
for it.
talking.
Who can you find that can't trot up on the after the party?
Yeah.
That'll give you a good interview.
Yeah, we'll be right there for all of the rider falls, you know. I'll get
You
there.
would not have asked Janelle.
Anyway,
Well, he did say he wanted to marry her, so maybe you never know.
question number 6. And we were just getting to hear a bit more about Dynasty. So from, in preparation for these shows, we do a bunch of research. So in the last couple of weeks, I've been looking into the results from Dynasty, and I noticed, was it your 5-star debut at Burghley?
Yeah.
And then also 3rd at Poe?
So it all started at Burghley, which
How were you crazy enough to decide that would be your first 5-star? You know what? I'm going
what?
to make this step up to 5-star. Burghley. Let's do it. Yeah.
It's always a tricky one. I think I knew he could jump. He's, I've always said, if they made the jumps bigger, it wouldn't matter for me. He'd go and do another level. He wouldn't thank me for making him gallop any further, but he'd like to take on the sort of doing the jumps. And I don't know. I think the thing with Burghley is that a lot of people shy away from it, but it's there at the end of the season. Your horse is going well. It's almost easier to prepare for Burghley than it is badminton. You're coming into badminton off the back of not tons of runs, especially this year when there's no weather. And it's you can build up towards it. And if your horse is there in good form, then go and have a crack. And I think that often shows that often it does go better for people at Burghley than when they sort of put their horse away and save it for badminton, and then it's not quite on the same form the following year.
I never thought I'd be nodding along, agreeing to to the
horse
logic. Well,
I don't know. I mean, having
that logic, but
having now gone well,
it makes sense.
yeah,
now gone well at Poe, I'm like, there are other 5-stars can suit your horses and things like that. But I want to. I'd grown up going to Burghley every single year, and that was I wanted to go and have a go. I didn't want to go to France and where no one was going to notice, kind of thing. So Burghley was the goal, basically.
Go hard or go home.
Yeah.
perfect. I was actually put this to Janelle over the weekend. I'd been, I come up with these little theories and I like to try them out. So I had a moment with Janelle and I said, Janelle, I've got this theory. I think the statement, that's a Burghley horse, is a backhanded compliment. It's how often do you hear it thrown around a horse that, it struggles all the way through the levels.
Yeah.
But it's got the
you
promise
get
that
to
one
5-star.
day, at a tough enough show, everyone else is going to fall. And then this horse is going to have its day. So I put that to Janelle, and boy, did she shut me down. I've never been shut down so quick in my life. What do you mean? We've had a ton of those, and they've built our career. And I said, you know what? Yeah, you're probably right.
What do you know?
Completely. No, I
But
think
it's an interesting
I
angle, do you know
I
what
don't
I mean?
disagree with the fact that it's slightly a backhanded compliment. Like I think we'd sometimes say it about some of the horses on the yard. Might win Burghley one day.
Yeah.
It's not going to win much else. But
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I was trying to capture.
I don't. I think potentially if you'd said it about some of Janelle's horses, she might have been, offended. But actually, for some horses, it's that's kind of life in a way.
Yeah. Oh, and then they get there, and then they
get there.
And I think, to be fair, sport's changing a little bit now that the horses can't, without long format and stuff, horses can be competitive at every level. Sure. But there very much used to be a time where your horses that were winning at the top level weren't much good for that much else.
Gotcha.
That was what they did.
But Dynasty's not that. You went around Burghley as your first, but then you've gone out to Poe and finished on the podium. How was that experience?
Unexpected. That was absolutely brilliant. He just everything came together really. I often say, I did my performance. We'd gone out there, and you get out to Poe very early because it's miles away, and the horses need a bit of time to recover. I was talking to McEwen on the potentially on the golf course, to be fair, going like on the Monday afternoon or the Tuesday before the show started, and I was there going. He was like, I was like, well, really, I just want to finish my dressage score. He's like, if you finish on your dressage score, you'll be in the top 5. And I was like, yeah, you don't know about my dressage. But to be fair, he was right. I was the wrong. But I love an event where you can climb from, being, I think I was 17th or something after dressage, and when you can climb, great, right? It doesn't mean it's not very close, but it's. It was everything was great. I wish I could have a few more like it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, you never know.
Yep.
You never know. Avance, here we come.
Yeah. Good luck. Mitchell?
Yes, Braden.
I think that's you, mate. Question number 7.
It is. And I just wanted to touch on a subject which I don't think we've kind of gone to before.
Not yet, no.
No,
not yet.
Just, I couldn't help but notice when we walked down the stairs into your house here, and I didn't have to, I'm quite tall, I didn't have to look down to shake your hand and greet you. You're quite a tall jockey, is that what we call you?
Yeah.
Jockey, rider. And it's not very common in eventing, is it, to have such a tall kind of guy hanging around. So could you name 3 eventers who are taller than you?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah. Okay. Who are they?
Jesse Campbell.
There he is.
Yeah,
It's
there he is.
massive.
Yeah.
Will Rawlin.
If you're
I said
confident,
that on the way.
if you're confident, can we make our top 5?
Can we make it 5? Okay, well, Jesse definitely. Will Rawlin definitely.
Yes, yes,
Fox Pitt definitely.
yes.
Then we get a little bit harder, but
See, and this is
have they
why
got to still be going?
See?
no.
No.
Because I reckon Rodney's probably taller than me.
Oh yeah, where's he coming in on the list?
Rodney Powell's probably he's smaller than them, but he was a
But taller than you?
tall old chap.
Are we putting Jesse at the top of the list?
No, because I think Will Rawlin's taller.
Do you?
Yeah. I think there was a
That's-
back-to-back of them somewhere. And
Was there?
yeah, because I think this is contentious because I think Jesse wants to be taller.
Yeah.
But
Really,
Oh.
Jesse?
yeah,
Mm.
Really?
you mean Jesse's not competitive? He better wait for golf tomorrow.
He better wait. He better wait.
Yeah.
So we've got Will Rawlin in number
Will
1.
Rawlin he's the top spot. He's the tallest
Oh, I've
eventer.
got another one. John T. There we go. That's 5. John T. Evans.
John T.
You remember
Evans.
John T?
No,
We remember John T.
Yeah. Please go on, Mitch.
Yeah, John T's up there.
So,
I didn't realise he was so tall.
He's a tall chap. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so if we were to put them in order, top
in
5.
order.
we're gonna go Will.
Will,
Yeah,
Sorry,
Jesse,
yeah.
Fox Pitt,
Yep.
John T.
Mhm.
And then I think Rodney Powell, but I might be maligning Rodney, but he is a tall chap, so yeah.
Hell of a top
yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And for me, it brings me joy to see Jesse at number 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On that height list.
Probably just said it to annoy him.
Bloody good. Moving along, we're at question number 8, so 3 from home. And I was just wondering, we're down here in Andover, quite far south for an eventer. What's your favourite route to Aston Le Walls from here?
We have a bit of a wiggle to get onto the A34, and then we're A34, M40, and then the whatever it is, 361 up to.
You go on the 361 because you sort of go up and back a little bit.
Yeah, no, we always go M40 and then up the 361.
No,
but,
this is-
yeah,
Braden made a wee bit of a prediction before tonight, guessing which route you would take. And he went A343.
I think that's it.
yes, that is right. Yeah. That's
343.
that's the one we have to
Yeah.
wiggle to get onto, and
Yeah.
that takes us onto the A34.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
into the A34 and then M40.
yeah.
Yeah, and
And
that's
then that's where he's finished.
Oh, that's where it's finished. Oh, okay. There's a little bit of a way between the. I'd like it if Aston was on the M40. But yeah, he's not done badly there. To be
not
fair,
too bad.
Yeah.
All right,
I love the route chat.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, you get a bit of route chat back home in Aotearoa, New Zealand, but it's kind of north to south.
Yeah.
Here,
There's basically one road as well.
yeah,
Okay.
It's not as bad as Europe.
State Highway 1. How do you mean?
Well, a couple of years back, Yaz and I went out to Stregom, and I think the most incredible thing was the fact that we got off the boat in Calais and drove to Stregom, and Well, for a start, there was 3 roundabouts
Okay.
in 1,000 miles.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But it's basically one road.
Yeah.
After
Gotcha.
you get sort of into Belgium, you get onto a road that becomes another road in Germany, that becomes another road in Poland, and
Yeah.
you never get off.
Perfect. That hasn't been my experience of the UK. Yeah.
It doesn't happen in the UK.
No,
If you want one road in the UK, you'll just be on the M25 forever.
yeah.
That's because it's a big circle.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. Or just get on there at like 8 o'clock in the morning and you'll
Stay
stay there.
sat there.
Yeah, you'll sit there for the rest
You
of the
live
day.
there forever. For me, the worst is any time we have to go near Milton Keynes. There's about 1,000 roundabouts.
There is, yep. That's when Britain tried to copy the other countries.
Really?
Milton Keynes is a grid, like it's a
Gotcha.
square grid. The roundabouts are terrible, but
Yeah, they went hard on the roundabouts, and in a big lorry, as we call them, it's really cutting into your ETAs.
yeah. What are you doing near Milton Keynes?
I don't know why.
Yeah, what shows
why?
are you doing?
I'm only near Milton Keynes. The traffic's got to be really bad for me to ever go near Milton Keynes.
I mean, I'm not the pilot. I couldn't
Yeah.
drive one of those things. But if I'm passenger and it's niggly. But good to know. A343, A30 for M40, and then something else. So.
Good
Mitch,
chat. Yeah, good chat.
Thanks, mate.
So we've spoken about Dynasty's plan and heading to Avanche in a couple of weeks' time. But he can't be the only horse you've got. And we're just wondering what kind of plan you've got for the rest of the season.
Looking at the calendar, it's quite busy. Between Yaz and I, it seems there's endless horses on the go this year, which is great, but it does make it.
Makes it busy.
It makes it busy.
How many numbers are we talking horse-wise?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but
is that the most eventer answer ever?
How many have you got?
Oh.
We've got a few.
no, we've got
Stable?
sort of 20, just over 20 in the yard, but whether they're not all going to events all the time, so it chops and changes. But no, we've got enough plans coming up. I guess the goal is really to try and get at least one or two out to Lyon at the end of the year, because it's another favourite of ours anyway. So it'd be nice to be out there anyway.
It's not a bad place to be out in Lyon, is it?
I mean, I think we're both chasing Leon as well. Either with or without our wives.
It's a good relaxed event. I think it helps being at the end of the year.
Sure.
Everyone's and no one can be riding 7 horses. You can only ride 2.
Yeah.
I have the added advantage that Yaz is Norwegian, so we only have to qualify a horse and we can go.
Perfect.
None of this selection crap.
Yeah. Which actually, sorry, just to jump in, but in speaking to Toby Piggott today, he did have a little follow up on that. He said, post marriage, would you consider changing nationalities? And triple barreling your last name.
I'm a bit patriotic, so I'm at the moment I'm inclined to stick with the Brits. I'm afraid. I'll let you in on a secret. I could actually ride for your nation. To be fair, I've got my grandfather's a Kiwi. I've got Kiwi family.
With both of our wives fighting for competitive spots, can we keep that real bloody quiet?
But
no, go on. You got
my grandfather was a Kiwi, and so.
Jeez, does anyone know?
Probably the odd person, but not anyone that should. So.
Lucky no one listens to the show.
Yeah.
Gee, if that got out.
Yeah, if there was one person that's not,
I'm not sure anyone
show.
wants me. The Brits don't really want me. So, but
we'll take you after Paris.
Yeah. No, I think I've always I think if eventing's still in the Olympics, fingers crossed. I hope it's here. Long term.
Yes.
And it gets to the point where I've not been, and I'm a little bit older. It's, let's say upwards of 40. So I've got a few years yet.
Sure.
Not as many as I'd like, but a few years yet. Another decade anyway. But then maybe I'd consider swapping my nationality. But
well, I could tell you it's not quite as easy as just swapping it over just like that.
It's the tests.
Well, there's a few tapes and things you got to go through, isn't there, Braden?
A few tapes?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
Oh,
A few
I
red
think
tapes?
a few red tapes. There was another British eventer that could also have been a Kiwi and decided against it.
Oh, Laura Collett.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did she try?
I don't want to put words in Laura's mouth. Let's just say I've heard a rather incriminating voice note from Tim Price.
Hey, we don't need to put names out there.
Yeah.
Sorry, from a
Unnamed source.
prevalent
Unnamed.
Kiwi eventer. It was maybe 5 years ago, and it was a 2-minute clip of him trying to convince Laura to, after he found out that she was a Kiwi, trying to convince her, and she was open-minded. I mean, I think, there's a lot of water that's gone under the bridge since then, but I think...
Yeah, I think it's a difficult way. Laura, especially with Laura's Olympic medal, that sort of like guarantees her world class forever. So whilst the Brits are paying her, she's not going to jump ship, is she? Yeah.
No.
I think you'll have to go fishing for a different one.
Well, hey, when that time comes around, you just come, you come talk.
You know where to come.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
Norway might be the easier option.
Yeah.
That is true. I do love Norway, by the way.
Yeah?
Have you ever been?
Me
Braden?
personally?
Yes, you.
No.
No.
You?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where?
I have. Volda.
You know?
Volda? Volda.
You're going in some real... I mean,
Yeah.
Does anyone know where Volda is?
Hector.
Yeah.
on our podcast stats, we can see every country that people listen
Yeah.
and every city. And I can tell you, Volda
Isn't one
not
of them.
on the bloody list.
Not before tonight.
Ah, there we go. I was just distracted by our questions. We're actually at the final question. And it's with me. And the question is, Hector, is Yaz Ingham in the weekend, as you mentioned, won €37,000. If that was you and you had a weekend to blow it, where are we going? You can plan the weekend in advance. You don't have to. It's not this weekend. Go. You got 37K in your pocket. But if you've got to spend 37 grand, and you can put some planning into it, what do you think you might be doing with that cash money?
It's a tricky one because I guess the obvious answer is to go to Vegas and just
Go on.
just
All on
that.
red.
But I think I'm a sports fan massively, but I think also predominantly I do enjoy my racing as well. So I think I don't know. I mean, maybe a Melbourne Cup.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But do it. Well, I don't. How much does €37,000
Well, I
get?
don't know,
Can you get a box?
I don't know. I mean, I've got to pay for flights. Yeah.
Yeah.
it might just get me there.
Yeah. Well, it depends who you're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But no, I think
I suspect Toby Piggott's not going to be on the flight.
No.
it'd be quite a good stag do to go to the Melbourne Cup, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Real good. Real good.
So no, that's I think because at least if you go racing or Vegas or something like that, you can take $1,000 and you can
You can
throw it on a bet and hopefully pay for some of your
Laissez-faire.
trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you didn't have it, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Something like the Melbourne Cup.
yeah, I think something like that would be a good trip.
Hey, well, just so you know, in the future, if it ever happens, we'd love to come along. So
Right, yeah.
Haven't been to the Melbourne Cup yet, but it's on the list.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
I think the chances of me winning $37,000 at Aachen are not particularly strong currently. So if I win it and I take a trip to Melbourne Cup, you can come too.
Oh,
Oh, thanks.
well, that's on the record forever.
But I'm flying you two from New Zealand, not the UK.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be based in Gore, so I'm going to need domestic flights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either to Christchurch, Wellington, or to Auckland.
Yep.
First, just so
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Where the hell's that? Where were you based?
Gore.
Gore.
Hell of
Gore.
a spot.
Gore.
I haven't been there.
Well, actually, neither have I. I don't know.
Who has, actually?
Well, Jeremy Wells. back in 1998. He did a bit there with. We're going down some niche New Zealand general knowledge.
Jeremy
questions.
Wells, never heard of him.
Yeah, really?
No. No.
It's a racehorse in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Hector, we digress.
Not a radio
No,
show host.
And a racehorse.
And a racehorse.
Yeah,
Is
there
it?
is. Yeah, big fan of the show.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of people or competitions, we finished the question, so I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about our eventing manager.
Yeah.
Hector, do you know much about eventing manager?
As in the
in-
Equa Ratings one.
That's it.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you across how that works?
Well, you see, I struggle with Eventing Manager
So do I.
Go
because I understand it's for user interaction,
on. Sure.
but I can't get my head around the fact that I pick my team before the event starts,
Yes. Yes.
and I can only pick one of Mickey, Yaz, McEwen, okay? Because I can't afford two.
Mm,
Well, let me
Right.
tell you. My team
Yeah,
on the weekend, I thought I was in. I was winning after the dressage,
yeah.
winning after the show jumping,
yeah.
and I was
What was your team?
not winning after the cross country.
Who did you have?
I had Patrick Ruig from
50-50.
Switzerland, 50-50.
Yeah, everyone had him. Yeah,
Everyone had
because he
him.
was the cheapest.
Yes. Then my other three were, I had Tom McEwen in there,
Yes.
Will Coleman,
Yeah.
and Mickey Young.
How the hell did you buy all them?
Hell of a team.
Wow.
What are your
I
tips?
can't
What are
give
your-
away. No, I'm not.
Go on, what are
I
your
can't
tips?
give away my secrets.
See, this is what I don't
can't-
understand because I
I-
can't do it because literally I get, they cost me 4 million a piece and suddenly there aren't enough cheap riders to.
I will give you a couple of tips. So one is, as soon as that notification comes up or the email comes through,
Oh, you got to be first person on there.
You got to
the-
get in early.
the prices go up.
Okay, because whenever I log on, I'm like 4 million,
Yeah, well, I mean,
4.2 million, and then I'm like, now I've got to get two people for less than 2 million.
Yeah.
And it's
And
not
Ginny
happening.
is a sucker for this because I tell her every time. I've picked my team. I'm not telling her before I've picked mine,
Sure.
obviously.
Well, this makes
but
more sense to me
I'm
now because
letting-
I'm there going like, I understand you can trade after phases
Sure.
and stuff, so you can get a little bit more money. But I'm like, but you get a little bit more money by you can get like 100,000 here and 100,000 there. I'm like, how are they getting 4 million more than I've got?
yeah. And the thing is,
Yeah.
the
They're
prices.
first people on.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
The early
is that the
bird
best tip?
gets the worm.
Like someone in the
See,
winner,
I didn't know that's how the game
the
worked.
person that
But
won,
now,
the person that won had the top three riders.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. You look at it, how the hell?
Exactly. How I was like, if I looked at the market, they couldn't afford the three, so it's like they had a cheat code.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've
Crash-
gone
Crash
GTA,
Bandicoot.
exactly. They've gone on GTA, and suddenly they've got a bloody jetpack.
Maybe there is a cheat code we don't know about.
Maybe.
Yeah. I've heard you've actually made friends, Braden,
How do you mean?
with Sam and Durham.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if-
Big fans of the show,
you know,
actually.
Get a couple of beers into them. And
You reckon we can get some
see-
cheat codes?
See what we can.
Well,
see what we
the
can do.
little side story I just wanted to bring up was that
I mean, I'm actually. Are they crying after the weekend? Because it's the first time they weren't right.
oh really?
Well, they've been having a hell of a year, haven't they? They've
Yeah.
predicted everything, but they didn't give Yaz a chance of winning, and they didn't think the Germans were going to win. So
There you go. I haven't
Yaz
spoken-
wasn't in the top 3 of their prediction centre to win.
Oh, no wonder I didn't put her in my team.
And
I was going off them.
and I
so
think
that's
they
where
I think
went
they
wrong.
had the Americans as their predicted team
Oh,
winners.
really?
So yeah.
That's the beauty of sport, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
What the little side story I wanted to say was that we set up a eventing weekly league. You know, you can have little
Okay.
side
Yeah.
leagues.
Yeah.
I think we had 51 members in that league, and bloody Mitch Thomason was leading after dressage on his team, leading after show jumping, and Mitch, I just wanted you to pick the story up from there with where you finished in our league.
I'd just like to point out, if you were watching Aachen, you would
Yes.
have noticed the weather over there.
Go on.
And that could have only meant the ground conditions would have been worse towards the end of the course
Okay.
as they were at the start. And obviously they went in reverse order. So my team,
You were punished for
being at the
success.
top, being so good, they were forced to go out in the worst conditions.
Gotcha.
And I believe that's where it's all went wrong. If my guys had been going out early,
And
We would have been home and
excuse
host.
this guy, isn't he?
And so, out of the 51 in our league, where did you finish, mate?
40, 47?
Third.
43rd.
That's a
So
big drop, isn't it?
Well, there's still 8 behind me.
No, only 45 people actually picked teams. So there were 2 behind you.
There was 2. I wasn't last. But
Before we rub it in too much, how did you get on?
Hey, top 22.
Top 22. So you're 22nd.
No, I was 21st. Thanks, mate. Shout out Kirsten Taylor, who took the league out, the first ever weekly eventing manager league. We look forward to running more of those over the next few weeks. Whenever Equiratings put them out, which I don't know which events.
They chop and change massively. They've been less frequent recently.
We put a big
push
ups
on.
for Lamolin.
Yeah, we thought Lamolin.
We're like,
surely.
Yeah, I was surprised at that.
Launch
Never
the
happened.
lead.
Yeah.
No lead.
Nothing.
So, hey, one more little section of the show tonight, and we like to end with some eventing advice. And the way that our fans give this advice is they go on Apple Podcasts and leave a review, and all they have to do is give us 5 stars. and then give us some eventing advice, and then we put that to our guest.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's what we're going to do. However, I will say before I jump in, I've had a wee bit of feedback of people. There's a lot of people not on Apple Podcasts. They're running the Spotify, sort of half of our audience. So shout out to all you Spotify users. So what Mitch and I have decided is that we're keen to open this up, that if you want to give us some eventing advice to put to our experts, then feel free to slide into our DMs. And we'll load those
We'll
up.
get them on there.
Yeah. Mitch, do you want to read out?
Yeah, shall I? I'll read out this one.
Yep, go on.
So this piece of it, well, I'll read the whole review,
Yeah, go
shall
for
I?
it, mate. Go for it.
Comes from the Big White Quack, whoever that may be.
It looks like it's come out of Australia.
It does look like it is come out of Australia. So we'll start here. Phenomenal potty, absolutely froth at the bit for these episodes. Big fan of this, and I absolutely love the outfits, and we definitely need some merch. We may have a bit of that coming along.
Yes,
might we?
Yes, some fan merch is in the works. You know, some. We've got this T-shirt lined up.
We definitely get at least a cap for being on this podcast. So
What,
you know.
is it the cap that you want?
If I'm flying you to Melbourne, you've got to give me something.
Well, once we get to Melbourne, we'll give it to you there.
Because we've got a few options. We've got the cap. We've got the Blythe Tape Ready Teddy. We've got that as a bit of a fan. You know, we've got a big fan of the show. So I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mitch. As you
We'll carry on there. My bit of advice, albeit I've never done eventing, but have ridden a few donkeys in my time. So it's more relevant to general life advice. And it goes, if in doubt, don't pull out. With the taking being most accidents happen when you hesitate. Anyway, all the best, lads. Love, a fellow duck. Yo, quack.
I mean, I understood some of that. The big takeaway for me was if in doubt, don't pull out.
What do you make of that, Hector?
We're going to ignoring the innuendo. We'll go. Yeah, I mean, there's merit to that. Yep. Hesitation is not a good thing. So
Hesitation equals
devastation.
Yeah, you guys have rehearsed that line.
You might think we have. Actually, no. That's
we haven't.
We've got a mutual friend.
I thought this was your soccer coach coming out here.
No,
Not moving the ball quick enough.
That's very American of you.
no. It's actually my brother-in-law is a BMX rider, and he says hesitation equals devastation.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can see
I
that.
think it's words to live by.
Is that something that you can see in eventing?
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally, go get on with it, and you're much better than when you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
See the stride, go for it.
Yeah.
Don't double guess yourself.
his donkeys have taught him well.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a pretty straightforward one. From our fan in Australia, nice and easy piece of advice. Is there any piece of advice that you'd like to throw out there back to our fans? Any nice little nugget that you've got?
Shit, I'm not sure people want to take advice off me.
Really?
I don't know about that.
Well, let's let them decide.
My nuggets normally, I alluded to the fact I asked Ben earlier. My advice is normally to, if you want to know something, ask it.
Yeah.
Like,
What's the worst thing to do?
yeah. They
It's
can say no. That's
Yeah.
it. Like,
Kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Hesitation equals devastation.
I'm
right?
I'm always like, if you want to, if you want to get something out of learning, working for someone or anything like that, ask a question. Don't expect them to spoon feed it to you.
Oh, bloody
Yeah.
good.
Go get on with it.
I like that.
Well, Mitch, that feels like not a bad place to sort of wind up.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
It feels about right.
Well, if that's all we've got for this evening, Hector Payne, thanks, mate.
Hi, this is Blythe Tate, and you're listening to Eventing Weekly with Mitch and Braden.
That wasn't bad from us.
Yeah, I think we nailed
Not
it
too
again.
bad. Not too bad. Really good from you.